Mr. Worthing. I feel bound to tell you that you are not on my list of eligible young men, although I do have the same list as dear Duchess of Bolton has. We work together, in fact. I am ready to make an exception and put your name on my list, provided they be what a really affectionate mother requires. Do you smoke? I am glad to hear it. A man should always have some occupation of some kind. Anyways, there are far too many idle men in London as it is. How old are you, Mr. Worthing? 29. A very good age to be married at. I've had the opinion that a man who desires to be married should either know everything or nothing. Which do you know, Mr. Worthing? You know nothing. I am very pleased to hear that. I do not approve of anything which tampers with natural ignorance. Ignorance is like a delicate exotic fruit. Touch it and the bloom is gone. Anyways, the whole theory of modern education is rather radically unsound. Fortunately, in England, education produces no effect whatsoever. Otherwise, it would lead to a serious problem to the upper classes and probably lead to acts of violence in Grosvenor Square. What is your income, Mr. Worthing? 7,000 to 8,000 a year in land or in investments? In investments. That is satisfactory. What between the duties expected of one during one's lifetime and the duties exacted of one after one's death, land has ceased to be either a profit or a pleasure. It gives one a position and prevents one from keeping it up, and that's all that can be said about land. I do hope and suppose you have a townhouse as well. A girl with a simple, unspoiled nature like Gwendolen can hardly be expected to reside in the country. Now can she, Mr. Worthing? A townhouse in Belgrave Square? What number? 149. The unfashionable side. I really did think there was something to you, Mr. Worthing. However, that can be easily altered. Both, I presume, the fashion and the side if necessary. Now to more minor matters, Mr. Worthing. Are your parents living? To lose one parent, Mr. Worthing, may be regarded as misfortune, but to lose both seems like utter carelessness. Who was your father? He was evidently a man of some wealth. Did he rise from the ranks of aristocracy, or was he born in what these radical papers go on about the purple of commerce? What do you mean by you don't know? And what in good heavens do you mean by found? The cloakroom in Victoria Station. A handbag. The line is most immaterial, Mr. Worthing. I must confess I feel somewhat bewildered by what you have just told me. To be born, or at any rate bred in a handbag, seems to me a display of contempt against the ordinary decencies of family life. And as far as this particular locality of this handbag is concerned, the cloakroom in Victoria Station can only be used to hide a particular social indiscretion. It can hardly be recognized as a good recognition in good society. I must advise you, Mr. Worthing, to try and acquire any relations as soon as possible, and to produce at least one parent by the season is quite over. Me, sir? What does this have to do with me? You can hardly expect that I and Lord Bracknell would allow our only daughter, a girl brought up with the utmost care, to marry into the cloakroom and form an alliance with a parcel. Good morning, Mr. Worthing.